Welcome into another episode of my Dynasty Fantasy Football YouTube. Today, I've got my 5 takeaway series to help you prepare for 2025. As always, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Let's go. So, the first takeaway is that Bucky Irving was elite in 2024. Now, usually I would say that day 3 running backs are extremely vulnerable. Players like Damian Pierce, Tyler Algier, and so on have been replaced very quickly, but those players were not elite like Bucky. So, last year, in his rookie year, Bucky had 207 carries, 1,122 yards, 8 touchdowns, 5.4 yards a carry, and 46 catches for 47 catches, 392 yards. Bucky caught 90.4% of his passes and averaged 5.4 yards a carry on decent volume, but it's more than that. He had 4.9 true yards a carry, 6th among running backs, 75 evaded tackles, 5th among running backs. And remember, this is not a rate stat. So Bucky was not a workhorse. So this is just 75 evaded tackles in total. So he was really good. Additionally, 29.5% juke rate, 3rd among running backs. We can go through every category. Irving was top or near the top in all categories. I'm not saying he's going to be this good on 18 to 20 carries a game, but he's not like the other day 3 running backs. He's undoubtedly a top 15 NFL running back and already was as a rookie. He might even get better. So what do you do about this? Nothing, really. There's a reason why Irving hasn't really appeared on any of my content so far. It's because buying a running back in his range at the prices they cost is almost always untenable. But since Irving's a day 3 pick, he's not really a sell either. Getting last year, if you were going to get the 107 for a player like Bucky, that would have been amazing in Superflex. This year, not so much, right? So Irving's an elite running back or getting there. I wanted to discuss him even if there's no move because it's a long offseason. I want to talk about players that aren't necessarily buys or sells. So Irving was a player on that list. So next up, I want to talk a little bit about Jordan Addison, who I feel like progressed from year 1 to year 2. And a lot of people I'd heard say that Addison was overrated after 2023. And in 2023, in 17 games, he had 70 catches, 911 yards, 10 touchdowns, 108 targets, 4.1 catches, and 53.6 yards a game. Whereas last year in 15 games, 63 catches, 875 yards, 9 touchdowns, 99 targets, 4.2 catches, and 58.3 yards a game. Now, the raw numbers don't look that much better. A little bit better, not a lot. His target rate and target share did rise, but it's less about his raw numbers and more just that I feel as if Addison, he's still just 23 years old. He was a good college prospect, and he's emerged as the clear second option in this offense. TJ Hawkinson was not the same coming off the injury. And it does kind of remind me a little bit about what happened this year with the Lions with Jameson Williams and Sam Laporta. Not saying that Jameson Williams and Jordan Addison are identical players, but with very rare exception, an actually good wide receiver will beat out all but the most elite tight ends. So I'm not that worried that TJ Hawkinson is going to return to form and displace Addison from the target pecking order because teams prefer to run their offenses through wide receivers, if that's at all possible. Now, I'd consider buying or drafting Addison. More drafting, I think, than buying. Again, I haven't really discussed him that much on the channel because I haven't felt like he's that much of a buy. I feel like people still like him. But I do feel like in drafts, running backs often go too high. So these types of wide receivers are often too low. Addison's a player I believe in the talent. We've seen good things in 2 years in the NFL, and he's young. And that's the type of asset I want on my Dynasty team. So I'm happy to draft Jordan Addison. But again, I just wanted to kind of discuss him because I felt like I hadn't talked about him really at all this offseason. So I mentioned this a bit in the last segment. If you can't tell, I'm really struggling with my voice, but I'm doing my best. But I mentioned in the last segment, at tight end, you either really stand out or you're just one of the guys. And Kraft is kind of in between for me. In 17 games last year, 50 catches, 707 yards, 7 touchdowns, 70 targets, 2.9 catches, and 41.6 yards a game. The 7 touchdowns, that's nice. But on a raw basis, the targets, catches, and even yards are nothing special. 15.1% target share, 19th among tight ends. That's nothing great. It speaks more to being a middling tight end. 26.1% target rate, 14th among tight ends. It's not that great, but it elucidates kind of what I'm talking about, in that Kraft's target rate is far higher than his target share. What does that mean? It means that Kraft is only running a route on 53.5% of the plays and only ran about 16 routes a game. Now, 16 routes a game is not a lot. You're not going to be fantasy reliable on 16 routes a game. So, is the talent there to be more than just a guy? I'm not sure. The usage is not there, though. The question is, does the usage change? For me, if I had to pick a direction, I'd lean more towards selling Kraft than buying. Problem is, it's hard. Unless you're in a tight end premium league, you're not going to get fair value for Kraft. It's why he's not been featured on the channel. It's very clear by efficiency metrics that the Packers' two best weapons last year were Kraft and Jaden Reed. Those were efficient uses of the passing game. Dontavian Wicks and Christian Watson did not deliver on catching the ball, and Romeo Doubs did very little with the catches he did receive. The real reason to sell Kraft is the risk that the offense brings in a true wide receiver 1, demotes Reed to the clear wide receiver 2, and Kraft is still valuable to them, but used even more as a blocker. The problem is that Tucker Kraft is, really, really good real life tight end. Does that translate to fantasy? We see this problem sometimes. So if I had to pick a direction, it's leaning towards selling. But again, I just kind of wanted to talk about Tucker Kraft. It's not like I hadn't talked about him really since in season. Now, if you like my YouTube content, you should sign up for the Patreon. Right now, I'm offering a 50% discount at all tiers using code TylerYT. You can get my rankings, access to the Discord, all my write-ups, DM fantasy advice, and the ability to ask in advance questions for the YouTube videos. I could have just put that on the screen, but I didn't. Oops. There you go. Tiers begin at just $5 a month, $250 with the discount. If you want to know more about the Patreon, check out my Why You Should Join the Patreon videos on the channel. They're under Patreon promos on the homepage. I'm going to do one more before the NFL draft, probably the week before, kind of detailing what rookie season on the Patreon looks like. But for now, take advantage of this discount code. And, just kind of the way things are, we know Twitter X is in decline. It's not going to be what it ever was before. That's not going to happen. Blue Sky, not much going on there. We're not going to replace what that was. It's not going to happen. There's not going to be a new platform. It is what it is. That's in the past. So if you want my version of that now, it's in the Patreon Discord. I'm not bringing back the interact with me experience for free somewhere else. It's not happening. I'm not bringing that back. That's going to be for patrons only, and that's not going to change. So if you're looking for my fantasy advice on a regular basis, that's going to be for patrons. And again, use that discount code, patreon.com/fantasy advice. You can click on the link in the top right corner, and, you don't have to struggle through my voice because most of the advice is written. But with that being said, I'll move into my next player. So a player in the news right now, Brandon Aiyuk. But I wanted to point out that Brandon Aiyuk wasn't even good in 2024 before he tore his ACL. Nothing I've heard lately about Aiyuk has been good. I mean, apparently now it's a good thing that Aiyuk might be ready by midseason. Midseason is good. That's good. That's terrifying. But even before the injury, in 7 games, 25 catches, 374 yards, 47 targets, 3.6 catches, and 53.4 yards a game. Not great. It might have gone under the radar because Deebo Samuel dropped off more, but Juwan Jennings obliterated Aiyuk's production, George Kittle as well. And Aiyuk looked more like the 2020 to 2022 version than the 2023 superstar. I think, is he really this bad? Probably not. But I don't think 2023 was realistic. Now, Aiyuk's due this big bonus, almost $23 million tomorrow. That means a trade is probably not happening at this point. Of course, the trade will happen 8 hours after I release this video. That's usually how things work. But they're obviously not going to pay him $23 million and then trade him later. So if they pay this money, he'll be on the team this year. On the same day, a $25 million bonus in 2026 becomes fully guaranteed. I don't think there's going to be a trade. It is what it is. At this point, I'd avoid Aiyuk completely. Everything I hear is that it's getting worse and worse. First, it was we hope he'll be back by week 1. Now, midseason is a good thing. What's going to be next? Week 15? I don't want to hear about that. I'm not interested in that. I mean, Jonathan Brooks' value last year, it was week 1. Week 4. Oh, no, it's going to be week 8. Well, it's actually, I'm not dealing with that. I'm not dealing with that. His value is going to continue to decline. We have no idea when he'll be back. Players like that plummet in value the second it's abundantly clear they're not playing week 1. We're not drafting new shares of Aiyuk. We're not buying Aiyuk. If you want to buy Aiyuk, wait for him not to play and then take advantage, but I'm not buying him right now. The price is just going to continue to drop. So my last takeaway is concerning Kyler Murray. And Murray was annoying for fantasy managers in 2024, but I think it more had to do with his effect on Marvin Harrison Jr. and his inconsistently week to week than the fact that he was bad. And again, the real life Cardinals, they were okay, but not awful in any way. So Kyler Murray in 17 games, 68.8% completion. That's really good. 21 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. That's fine. 7.1 yards per attempt, very similar to his career average. 226.5 passing yards a game. That's okay. And 78 carries, 572 yards, and 5 touchdowns. He averaged 7.3 yards a carry and 33.6 yards per game on the ground, right in line with his career outside of his outlier 2020 season. He looked fully healthy in year 2 off the ACL tear. And his passing stats were also in line with his career outside of 2021, where he was better. Basically, Kyler Murray has been the same for his entire career outside of recovering from the injury. Except in 2020, he had an outlier season on the ground, and in 2021, he had an outlier season through the air. He's never had an outlier season in both places in the same year. Now, the real thing this year that was weird is Murray had 6 games with 3 carries or fewer and 4 games with 7 or more. It was weird. Some weeks the running faucet was turned on, and some weeks it just wasn't. It wasn't back-to-back. It wasn't consistent. It wasn't because of injuries. It just came and went, which is strange. Now, for me, I'd consider buying Murray. I mean, frustration creates buying opportunities. The overall stats are more predictable than the week-to-week. And again, this was very much in line with Kyler's career. It wasn't a down year. Outside of recovering from the injury, he's been the same player. I wish he'd progressed. I wish something had changed since his rookie year. Nothing really has, but he's still a starting quarterback in the NFL, and that's not going to change. So I would be interested in buying Kyler Murray, especially if he comes at a discount. All right, so we'll go through a couple of Patreon questions, and then we'll wrap up the video before I cough up a lung. So if the Patriots don't add any contributors on offense via the draft, well, I think that's very unlikely. Who do you think will have a better fantasy season, Drake May or JJ McCarthy? I'm going to go Drake May. I mean, no matter what, right? Drake May provides more rushing value than JJ McCarthy, and that means that Drake May is going to be better. We haven't seen anything from JJ McCarthy. I don't know that JJ McCarthy is good. He might be, but I like Drake May beforehand. So I think this hypothetical is irrelevant because the Patriots are absolutely going to add some sort of contributor on offense, but I'm taking Drake May ahead of JJ McCarthy no matter what. Oh, this is very topical. Do you think the tush push gets outlawed? If so, does Philly still rely on more traditional quarterback sneaks? Does that drop Hurts down to Herbert or Stroud range? I was thinking it would get outlawed. Given what I'm reading lately, I'm thinking not. It seems like they need 24 teams to ban it. So it only requires 9 to say no. My guess is it's going to be a no. I think the rule to ban it is a little too confusing. So I don't think it does. Even if it did, I don't think it affects Hurts' value as much as pushing him all the way down that far. I think it would push him down a little bit, but in the range he's in Superflex, that little bit is maybe 1 spot at most. So not really much. I still believe in Hurts as a fantasy asset. That hasn't changed in any way. So yeah, not dropping him down that far, but I don't think he gets outlawed personally. Now, If you like the video, make sure to support the channel by subscribing. And don't forget to hit that notifications bell so you can be notified about all my exciting content as it drops. Of course, if you want my best fantasy football advice, it's available on the Patreon. Dynasty content year-round, rookie content as well. 50% discount at all tiers using code TylerYT, and you can sign up top right corner, patreon.com/fantasyadvice is the link. Every sign up helps support my independent content. But once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for bearing with me, even with my dying voice. And I'll see you all later.